Hey guys, it's Magic from Kingdom 1576, and I have a new video today where I will be coaching a viewer, Hum, through Sunset Canyon. So first off, we are going to be looking at his commanders. So we're going to hop in, I'm going to be talking to him, it's more of a coaching experience. So the first thing we did here is we established what his primary commanders were going to be. So if we look at his list, we see Minamoto is going to be a primary, Baibars is going to be a primary, Sun Tzu, Richard, and then what our fifth primary is going to be Herman. So these are the tools that we have to work with. Stars are not the most prevalent things in the game, so you got what you got. Let's go to Sunset Canyon. Let's look at your team. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at all of his marches before we make any decisions on our thought process on it. So just go through your marches one by one. So we have Richard Ethelflad. The first thing we notice here is that there's no 3 unit comp, and so whoever Ethelflad is going to go on in the end is going to have that. All right, so let's go to the second one. So next we see Sun Tzu Aluji. Pretty good march overall. It could be improved, but overall Sun Tzu Aluji is very nice. All right, go to the next one. Herman Kusunogi, kind of one of those staple marches that, everybody needs an archer march, and this is the free-to-play special right here. All right, go to another one. Okay, and we're looking at Baibars Pelagius. I think this is pretty good. However, we saw earlier that his Ethelflad is expertise and his Baibars is expertise. So we can probably end up doing something with that to benefit from Ethelflad's expertise ability. Okay, and then go towards your Minamoto. So, as many of you may have noticed by this point, hey, this guy's in free-to-play. He's not free-to-play. That is true. I just thought this would be a very good video for the channel. So, low spender, low expertise mina. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to free Ethelflad from the Richard, because as many of you may have noticed, he does not have Joan of Arc on his team. So we're going to go to the tankiest march he has and slap Joan of Arc straight on there. Okay, so Richard Joan of Arc, ready? I generally prefer Constantine Joan of Arc, but he doesn't have Constantine, so Richard will have to do. Another thing to note is that although a march like Richard Sun Tzu may be very strong, he only has 5 commanders that can work as primaries, so we would have to put Richard and Sun Tzu separate. Okay, so next we're going to go to Baibars. Okay, we're going to remove Pelagius, and we're going to put Ethelflad on here. We're going to have him at 96,000 heavy cavalry and then 2,000 spearmen and 2,000 bowmen. The reason for this is because we want to get benefit off of Ethelflad's expertise skill. Something not very well known is that the infantry tree and the archer trees both need mono unit types in order to be used at max effectiveness. However, the cavalry tree does not care if you have all of those units. It just benefits cavalry the most. So if you need to have 3 unit types, you can, and it won't really damage your overall march. Okay, so the Mina march is fine, the Herman march is fine. Let's go to Sun Tzu. So his Sun Tzu march has latent power on it, and he recently freed up his Pelagius from his Belisarius. I personally like Pelagius better here because it uses latent power, which he takes into Sun Tzu's skill tree. We're going to take a quick look at his skill trees to justify these positions before we go on ahead and try and attack. So this is the Sun Tzu skill tree here. It is not the best skill tree for Sunset Canyon. As you may have noticed, this is an open field skill tree. So he has not finished out the skill tree, but he's finished off the infantry tree, which means we're locked into running infantry and we cannot make any movements towards the cavalry tree to try and use Pelagius's expertise skill, which is okay because Pelagius really doesn't need it, but it is important to note that latent power is here. So we're always running infantry on this march, and it's going to be a backline march. So what we're going to notice here about Baibars is that he has the complete skill tree done, and he has latent power, which is generally going to be a skill tree for Pelagius. Ideally, we would want to take the 3 points away from latent power and shove them into... Go to the little skeleton hand at the bottom.
Oh, I hate that because it increases what you take, and most of my marches are not tanky.
So I would actually, I actually like Naked Rage a lot. I would definitely take this with Bybar's Ethelfled, and the reason why I would take it with Bybar's Ethelfled is because you're doing a shitload of damage, and it's just compounding the damage you're dealing. You're not tanking with this march, so it's really okay to be taking more skill damage because you're hitting like 5 people twice versus you're going to get hit by maybe a little bit of random AoE, but you're definitely going to be dealing more than you're taking because you're not going to be taking any single target damage. Let's go back. We've looked at the maybe the variable trees. So now we're going to go to Sunset Canyon and we are going to take our new lineup and we're going to try and fight with it. Okay, let's look at this guy at the top. Do you know any information about his marches?
Freddy, I don't know how good their Freddy is.
It doesn't even matter.
It's are together, so doesn't that negate some of the debuffs / buffs that it gives, or no?
Kind of. If you focus them, they're pretty fucked. I think like your biggest advantage here is that he's got a full Herman Kusunogi march that you can just shove Minamoto into. So let's hit the challenge button. Okay, so this is how this is going to go. Put Richard in front of Sun Tzu, Minamoto in front of Herman, Sun Tzu behind Richard, keep Baibars there. So my rationale by taking this is that your Minamoto is going to crush the Herman March, right? The Herman March is going to die automatically. And then you're going to be flanking into the Martel, which is going to die to Baibars, Herman, and Mina. And then you're going to hit the Sun Tzu. Like, he has a Saladin, though, doesn't he? Is that Saladin Cao Cao?
Yeah, but the thing is, with their Saladin, I don't know if they have the 3rd skill. So I don't know what Saladin's 3rd skill is. So I can go check.
Yeah, well, the healing effect, well, it's 40% healing effect reduction. So he's gonna, if that goes into your Richard, it's gonna cream pie you. So let's go back to the battle. Okay, so right here we have another good one. So we're looking here, we see a lot of green lights. So our first green light is that we have a Martel Sun Tzu march, which means that Sun Tzu is suffering skill damage in terms of benefiting tankiness. Now, some of the negative effects of this is that they're going to have mostly infantry from what I'm looking at. However, they're rocking expertise Lohar level 60, so they have a disproportional amount of power. So let's go ahead and challenge this one. Things to note here, Ethelfled does not have 3 separate marches, so she's not getting extra bonuses. I did not see a... Did he run Joan of Arc Ethelfled?
That looks to be a Boudica.
Okay. That's actually not a bad march. I like that march. So the way we're going to have to do this is Richard is going to have to meet Charles and Pelagius. Like, no matter how this goes, Charles can't be hitting cavalry. We're going to put Sun Tzu behind Richard, Minamoto into Lohar, Herman next to Richard, and then put Baibars behind Herman. Yoji Ethelfled. So actually put Minamoto to the back square. So we're going to want to make sure that Yoji and Ethelfled go over to the Richard, because once Minamoto finishes off Lohar, we want him to target Ethelfled ideally, which is going to be a tough ask, but we want that to be his priority.
Because it goes from front to back when targeting. I watched a 30-minute video on that.
Still good, because we want the Lohar done for, and then we want to flank. We want all Sun Tzu's damage, all Pelagius' damage to go into Richard, and then we want Sun Tzu targeted after that. We want Baibars Ethelfled pumping out as many debuffs as they possibly can for as long as they can. We're going to have Herman versus the Martel, because alongside not having any real rage regen off of Charles Martel Sun Tzu, because they don't have the skill tree, Herman is going to lower their total rage and silence them, which is going to be really, really huge. If Charles Martel Sun Tzu dies, spitting out 1, maybe 2 abilities at half HP, then we've done our job. So let's go ahead and attack. Okay, let's look at the numbers. Okay, you absolutely cream pie this person. Minamoto did its job. I think Minamoto might have actually gotten targeted first here, though. Looking at the kills on Luigi.
I kind of want to see that. I want to see if that is what happened. So I'm just going to wait for the targeting, and then I'm going to get... Yep. Do it.
But this is awesome. Absolutely face fucked the 2 damage marches they had. And then, did you get shit on a little bit in terms of the Mina March? It is what it is. If I could do it again, I think I would swap Kusunogi or I would swap Herman and the Mina March if I were to do it again. Let's challenge again if you don't mind. Okay, and this is probably going to be the last one. So let's see what this guy's got on him.
Nope. Nope.
What's his total power?
44.6 mil.
Okay, so what we're looking at here. So first we're going to look at his configuration before we say no. Because his Ethelflaed number 1 is rocking a fucking Martel secondary, which is dog shit. And his biggest threat is Genghis Khan, who is in the front line. Okay, so I think this is winnable. So you're going to want... I didn't see a Saladin, I didn't see a Joan of Arc. So we're going to run Richard into Genghis. We're going to run Sun Tzu into Genghis. And we're going to run Minamoto 1 square up. We're going to put Baibars behind Mina. And I think we sacrifice Herman here.
So, but the question is, do you think that the Richard and Minamoto will go up? Or
So
will go down?
if they go up or down... If they go up, great. We have more time to just pub stomp the Genghis Khan. If they go down, cool, because Herman will solo the Sun Tzu. So either way, it's a win-win.
Well, but it's a Sun Tzu Osman, so I'm not sure how good that combination is. I don't know anybody that's tested that
It's a good
before.
combo. That's generally accepted as one of the better ones. Yeah, that's the combo that I'll be going with later, actually. Okay, go ahead. Pretty sure this is a wipe if Genghis dies in a timely manner. If his first ability gets the double proc, you might be fucked. But if it doesn't, you might be good.
I want to watch this one, see if they get the double proc or not. 1, and only 1. Now let's see if it kills it before it goes off again.
Boom.
Boom.
Done for. And your Herman did a shitload of damage to the Sun Tzu, which is really going to hinder him. You've won this.
Oh my god, I lost.
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
absolutely shit all over him because of how you set it up. So he took his strongest damage march, which is going to be Genghis Khan, and he frontlined him. It immediately died, and that was it. So
And
what can...
the debuffs from Ethelflaed.
Was Ethelflaed mono marched? Like, did she have multiple troop types on her? Yes, she
This
did.
is the Ethelflaed march.
Wait, she only had 2. There's only two troop types on that Ethelflaed. Holy Christ. Okay, so that's another reason why Ethelflaed wasn't doing anything. So I think this is a pretty fair coaching video on Sunset. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Discord. Feel free to drop them in the comments. Good luck in Sunset, guys. Have a good one. I hope this was educational.